Just doing a little bit of a check-in here, about on the end of the last day of my little training hike with my mom and my aunt. And overall, I'm feeling pretty good about the PCT. I came out here and did what I needed to do, which I was really primarily wanting to just shake down, kind of do one last check with my gear and make sure that I've got everything I need in order, and also just spend some time with other Appalachian Trail hikers, kind of see them off on their journey here at the beginning of the southern terminus of the AT. So it was really nice getting to see all of them at the very beginning and share a few of the tips that I had from my experience and get some ideas on gear that my knowledge is outdated on. So kind of related to that, I think the big thing is I'll be dumping my part of my sleep system. So how I've usually done this, both for cleanliness sake and for just having a little bit more warmth. I have a nice 55-degree summer bag. That's kind of my go-to. It's just a synthetic bag that I layer a 10-degree enlightened equipment quilt on top of. And that has generally been really useful. I think it's going to be a little bit bulky and overkill for my PCT hike. What I'm gathering on intel is that it's going to be a little bit warmer this year out on the PCT. So I'm going to be dumping that summer bag and just working with a liner and the quilt for my sleep system. So that should save. I wasn't really running into too much into issues of weight with my bag. It was more of just bulk. Initially, I had to have my food bag strapped on top, which is less than ideal. And now that I've eaten a bit more food, it is fitting. So I think by dumping that summer bag, that'll give me back a bit more space. I'm definitely not bringing 2 pairs of shoes. I think that these will likely end up being a lot more useful. They're insulated boots. I'll most likely have those sent to Kennedy Meadows so that when I get to the Sierras, I've got a little bit more warmth. So I will be anticipating a little bit of snowy and colder conditions there. Based on my estimated arrival. And I think I'm just going to rock these Merrell shoes for the start. They're holding up pretty well. I did buy them used on Gear Trade, so there are a couple little quirks with it, but I do have a pair of insoles on the way, super feet, that I will use to get a little bit more cushion and support. There's a couple of other things that I'll need to kind of fine tune and adjust. Like I need to re-up on my duct tape, since I used all of it, patching this handle that was kind of melting on my hand and unfortunately got all over my shirt. But hey, what's a hiker shirt with a little bit of nastiness on it, right? Adds to the authenticity a little bit, I guess. And I realized that I only have 2 pieces of original gear from when I did the Appalachian Trail. One of them being this very ski pole, which I'm of the opinion now that a ski pole likely going to be far superior if you're willing to abandon it at the end of the trail, because obviously it doesn't pack down. It's one solid construction. It doesn't collapse at all. That shouldn't be too much of an issue with hitchhiking, since I'll just be able to collapse it. It'll be fine. I can just throw it in the back seat and it won't be a big deal. I don't anticipate, since I used so much of it on the AT, I actually paired this with a wooden hiking stick towards the end because I didn't feel like buying more trekking poles. I must have gone through like 3 or 4 pairs out there. I don't know, maybe the tech's better, but I know from an engineering standpoint, having less failure points is good. The other piece of gear that's original is my sleeping socks that my mom got me. So they're a nice black warm pair of smart wools that I just always keep as a dry pair when I go to sleep for the night. Pretty much everything else has been switched out since then. The other thing I'll likely need to cut out would be definitely not carrying as much food, but I was carrying a little bit extra for my mom and my aunt so that they could be a little bit lighter and I could train a bit more. Yeah, aside from the gear tuning thing, it was really nice getting to chat and catch up with some of the current thru hikers. I got to meet Farrell, which is a guy who started a Facebook group for Appalachian Trail hikers to ask questions on. Seems to be a little bit more of a friendlier community. I didn't catch the name of the Facebook page, so if anybody knows, you can drop a comment below. I thought the trail name Will Farrell But Funnier was pretty good, but don't think that's going to stick. Also spent some time with Wine Fairy, who's a fellow stupid head, and he's a character. Young guy and just out here living on the trail, living the dream. He's already lashed the whole trail, so now he's going for his first through. And also met Moron, who was absolutely hilarious. I should have gotten the interaction between him and Wine Fairy on camera. I'll do better about capturing those moments next time. But he is going for an AT Triple Crown, so he's on his third thru hike right now. And I was curious about that because I'd had this idea going in my head for a while about doing potentially a winter thru hike. And he mentioned the Real Hiking Viking. I'll tag you here on YouTube. I'll have to go watch your video. But he said it was, after watching that, it looked pretty brutal. I can imagine like having way less resources going through in the off seasons could be challenging, and then just the winter conditions itself. Considering I started the AT in February, I got a little taste of that for the first week, but didn't see any more snow for the rest of the trail. So there was also an older couple that were hiking together out here, and the husband had mentioned not really doing well on the very first day, just doing the approach trail and getting to Stover Creek. He had fallen 3 times, like not just on the trail, but like off the side of the trail, which to me kind of raised a little bit of a red flag. And he also mentioned having heart surgery 4 months prior to now. So I'm really hoping that he's going to be okay and that he's just taking his time. And if he needs to get off and really rest, that he does. Best of luck to you out there, sir.